What's good, guys? And today we're talking about the final batch of cards that I want to talk about from Lightning Overdrive. So this last weekend, people brought this deck to my attention. I honestly looked at the artwork and I was just like, oh, this is gonna be just like a clown deck. There's nothing good, but there's actually a few really good cards. I'll explain the general principle. I'm not gonna go through every single card here because I think a lot of them are very mediocre. But there's three that definitely do stand out, and the general idea is they have these trap cards that they try to get to. The monsters help get to them, and then the spells also help get to them. And the trap cards all have effects that either you can equip to your own amazement monster, or you could equip to the opponent's monsters, and they get a different effect depending on which monster is being equipped it to. So it's interesting. I haven't really seen a deck like that before, but let's get on with the cards. The first really insane card, Amazing Time Ticket. Pay 800 life points, apply this effect depending on whose turn it is. Your turn, add one amazement card from your deck to your hand. Your opponent's turn, set one attraction trap directly from your deck to your spell and trap zone. It can be activated this turn. You can only activate one amazing time ticket per turn. Immediately when I saw this card, I was thinking Cursed Outland. Very similar, but I think this card's even faster than Cursed Outland because you can either get to your engine or you can actually just, this card can become one of the interrupts. Most of the interrupts, the traps that you get to are kind of weak, but there's one that is good that I'll get into right after. And then the monster. I honestly recommend, before we get into this, I honestly recommend, I think this deck is going to be splashed into other decks or just a very heavy trap deck. I've been thinking about playing it with Elish, Paleo, anything like that. Definitely splashable with the three cards. I don't think you should play all of the other cards because they're a little subpar for the moment being. But let's get on with this. The Amazement Administrator. Once per turn, you can banish any number of attraction traps from your graveyard, then target that many cards your opponent controls, destroy them. Okay, yeah, like that's okay. It can come up. You can only use each of the following effects of Administrator once per turn. If a trap card is activated, except during the damage step, you could special summon this card from your hand. What does this remind you of? Altergeist Multi-Faker. Whenever you have an effect like this, I think it's pretty good. It's 2600 attack, bigger than Lord, bigger than a bunch of other monsters, and now it makes sense. It can come out very easy. Drawing it isn't too bad. I probably would not play three. Maybe you can play three, but maybe like one or two copies of this, and it just triggers very easy. And then, if your opponent normal or special summons a monster, except during the damage step, you can target one of your opponent's monsters, equip that opponent's monster with one attraction trap card from your deck. So right there, you have a multi-figure that's going to bring out an interruption, bring out one of the trap cards. I'll get into the trap card next. But even the first effect, whenever you have a trap deck, it's very hard to clear fields. And I do like that this card has a board wiping kind of effect because a lot of these trap decks, they have to rely on trap cards to deal with the field. But it's always nice that a monster can put in a trap deck and push for a game or push to clear a field. I really do like this card. Very reminiscent of Multi-Faker. And then the final trap card, I recommend playing this one for now. The other trap cards are really subpar. There's like effects that are like change the position of the monster, or you can put one card back, draw one card. All the effects are very mediocre, but this one isn't that mediocre. Target one amazing monster you control or one face-up monster your opponent controls. So most of the trap cards all have this little gimmick where you choose to target your monster or the opponent's monster, and you're going to get a different effect depending on it. You can activate this effect based on the equipped monster's controller. So if you target your own monster, target one effect monster your opponent controls, and negate its effect until the end of this turn. I like that effect. Really good effect. Not bad at all. And then the opponent's monster, if you equip it to that, your opponent change the equipped monster to face down defense position. Very simple. It's a Book of Moon, so two good effects. It literally is a very cool way to play trap cards. I don't think I've ever seen a deck that actually does this. You have the option to equip to opponent or yours, and you get a different effect. I definitely do think this deck might see play. It's gonna be a rogue deck. I will definitely be playing around with it. The fact that I didn't even hear about this, I don't even know if all these cards are dropping in the same set, but I know that the three cards I just talked about are definitely dropping. I definitely like those cards. Let me know if there's a way to actually play this deck pure with just trap cards. I just feel like that's mediocre, but if you play the three cards that I just showed, I think there's actually potential in this deck. There's definitely cool things you can do. And Lightning Overdrive, the more and more I keep reading into it, there's just so many cards that are going under the radar. People are saying, oh, there's not enough generic support. But there's quite a bit of generic support in this set that people are just, I guess, haven't looked into it because it's not like a Pot of Prosperity. It's not like a Lightning Storm or Forbidden Droplets, but there's cards out there that are very generic that can be splashed into a bunch of decks. So I'm really looking forward to Lightning Overdrive. I think this is going to be the last video I'm going to make going through the different archetypes because I think I covered everything. I refuse to read the War Rock cards for the moment being. I don't think they're that good. But yeah, this deck definitely stood out. A bunch of people brought this to my attention, and I definitely appreciate that. Amazement cards. I guess the moral of the story is don't judge a book by its cover. Just because these cards look like circus cards, these cards remind me of like the Performa Pals, and even the Performa Pals, like the artwork just looks so shit, but the deck was so good. Like some of the cards, Monkey Board, those cards are just banned now. So cool to see that, guys. Stay tuned for more. Like, comment, subscribe, and let me know if I missed anything or if there's some way to play this deck that I don't really know about. But a splashable engine, very cool. Peace.